As creatives and musicians, we work very hard at our craft, hoping to take our music and our careers to that next level. But the problem is most of the time we're doing this by ourselves. And then there comes a time where we're thinking to ourselves whether or not we need more support, more help, whether or not we need a manager. But a question we always ask ourselves is, what does a manager actually do? How do you get one? When should you get one? Do you even need one right now? And if you do, how do you know who to trust when it comes to contracts, getting paid and things of that nature? My aim for this video was to try and answer all of these questions, so stay tuned and let's get into it. So yes, people, my name's Vital, but just like usual, make sure you click down below for the chapters, the timestamps and the markers to move in and around the video where you feel best. But if not, sit back, take note and relax. But before we start, make sure you subscribe to the Ditto Music YouTube channel. I'm gonna need you to like, definitely hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. And remember, leave comments down below about anything that you found interesting. Get in the comments and let us know. Tell us a story. Do you have a manager? Do you manage yourself? What's that like? Tell me your trials and tribulations down in the comments. And if you make music, make sure you check out the 30-day free trial that you can get right now on Ditto Music down below in the description. And that's if you want your music heard on Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, and loads of other stores, including getting things like pre-save links and a whole lot more. Get in the description, have a look, let me know what you think. All right, so let's go. So exactly what does a music or artist or band manager actually do? In the simplest way, a music manager's job is to manage you. And that includes managing your responsibilities, your projects, your times, and things around that. The aim is to keep you on track and to potentially find new opportunities to help grow the whole of your music career. So simply, you focus on the music and they focus on the business. Their job is basically to help sell the brand, the image, your music, and help you make the best decisions for your career. Of course, when you make money, they make money, but we'll get into that a little bit later into the video. Ultimately, having a manager should give you more time to create music, hone in on your brand, and really reach out to new fans. Overall, a good manager should really hook you up with a photographer, videographer, booking agent or services, radio plugger, PR, publicists, and an accountant or a lawyer to help you with taxes or bookkeeping. They should be looking for and bringing people in who are best to help you get to the highest level you can. And also, it's important that your manager is able to pitch your music to a record label for endorsement deals, for brand deals, for support shows, tours, radio and podcast interviews, for sync deals, playlisting, ad placements, for sponsors, grants, and obviously collaborations. Having solid and good connections makes a great manager. And as your manager, your success is in their best interest. They should always be thinking about your next steps, taking you from A to B and helping you to build on what you've already built yourself. And respectfully, you might be thinking, you know what, well, I can do this all myself, and you would be justified to think so. But at some point in your career, a manager with the right knowledge, connections, but most importantly, someone who believes in you and your music could go a long way. But you need to make sure you have a strong understanding of what the relationship actually means. Your manager should be the liaison between bookings, email responses, networking, fan mediation, and label conversations, plus a whole lot more. You could even say the industry respects you more having someone speak on behalf of you. I mean, not always, but sometimes it definitely doesn't hurt. And even more so if that person has real industry experience. Lastly, it's so important that you're able to trust the fact that they can make a decision on your behalf about your career and the trajectory of where you want to take your music. So you should be able to take their advice, but also work with them on decision making and find a balance between knowing exactly what you want, but also understanding that they may have more experience and see it from a logistics side. So understanding what a manager is, the question is, finding your manager. How do you do that? And finding the right manager out of nothing isn't easy. You need somebody who's trustworthy, understanding, gets you, great at problem solving, really good at communicating, and has a great reputation. It's so important that it's someone who understands the industry and doesn't give any false promises. There are a few ways to increase your opportunity, your chance of finding the right manager, but in reality, the best managers will find you. And what I mean by that is the best managers are usually the ones out looking for emerging talent, and they'll spot you, and if they'll spot you, potentially they'll just make an offer. So if you keep doing your thing, making great music, racking up streams, and performing whether it's online or offline, to really build on your fan base. And even if it's just minimal audiences, it's only a matter of time before someone approaches you. If or when this happens, don't just jump into this situation, this relationship head first. Don't just sign contracts without reading them. Definitely get it proofread, lend it to someone who has a bit more of an understanding of contracts and how they work, and don't necessarily go with what you've been promised. Take some time to research on anyone who offers to manage you. Look at their background, their interest. See if they're solidified in the industry. Do people know them? Do they have a great reputation? Are they known in certain circles where there are vetted managers, A&Rs, PRs, publicists, and different companies around the music labels and marketing space? And I mean, if that doesn't work, maybe someone you know could be your manager. You could look at your social circles and see indirectly if there's anybody that actually fits the role. Family, friends, work colleagues, retired artist friends, cousins, or anybody that makes sense. A lot of successful acts like Skepta, Stormzy, Slow Tie, Ghetts, Chip, and even Drake have their family and friends who help support and run their musical empires. Be it management, visuals, merchandise, engineering, production. It's some part that help keep things rolling. And although it can definitely get tricky with friends and family, or even just close ones in general, having pleasure mixed with business, it's still a viable and potential option. But let's say you feel like you need a manager right now, but nobody's knocking. You've got to make sure that you're putting yourself out there into the world online so people can see you. You can find a manager by posting about it onto blog spaces, music forums, places like Reddit, Discord, and more. You can check places like LinkedIn and look for similar artists that are managed by certain people and see if they have space, room, or can recommend. You can send your music, your profile, your bio to relevant publications and see who's interested. Contact people that you know in the industry and see if they can recommend anyone who's credible. A social media call out can really help test the waters. A post, a tweet, saying that you're looking for some kind of support to help grow and build your music career. If you do get into a conversation, it's good to state what your desires and aims are and potentially what you're willing to pay or work out with this person. Any of these methods could really get people's interests and set you on a path towards the right manager. But like I said, a manager or even multiple managers will typically find you when it's the right time or the right stage of your career. So you know what a manager is and you've got an idea of how to find one. But how do you go about paying your manager? Usually with a cut of everything that you make. And it's also called a commission. Now, to be honest, there can be some difference when it comes to how much a manager should take in commission, including what point of your career you started working together and exactly what they're doing for you. For argument's sake, let's say they're doing the most of what I previously mentioned. The typical commission rate is 10, 15, or even 20% of your gross income. Gross income being everything you've earned before taxes, including other deductions. But some managers might work on a variable rate. For example, they could charge 10% from anything earned from £1 to £100,000. And then between £100,000 and £500,000, they may charge 15%. And anything over £500,000, they may charge 20%. And that can fluctuate and change. As for when and how you pay them, that specifically is a conversation up to you and the team. You might be able to set up split payments or maybe just transfer money directly. It all depends on how your finances are set up. So for example, if you acquire a new manager and you get some shows and a sync deal and it's a good amount of money and this manager hasn't really done much, then you can really consider this manager as an assistant, not a manager. And in that case, I would potentially just get rid of them or demote them to an assistant and pay them for what they're doing as opposed to taking a piece of the pie every time something comes through. So if you're already making a lot of money, please bear this in mind. But if you're just building, then it's good to kind of have this understanding, especially when it comes to your expenditure. So now we understand what a manager is, finding a manager, and how to pay one. But it goes back to the question of, are you ready for a manager? Like I said, before you start giving a slice of the pie to anyone else, you need to think, are you even at the point where you need and are ready for a manager? I feel like a lot of us want a manager because it feels right, but we're not actually ready for one. I mean, if you started making music last week, then no, I don't think you need one. But there are many reasons that you may realize that you do need one. You need a manager potentially if your career's picking up and now it's becoming hard to handle. If you're being offered contracts and you don't fully understand what they mean and what to do. If you have thousands or hundreds of thousands of streams and sales monthly and you want to take it to the next level. If you have a massive following and loads of inquiries and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And here's a few reasons just to kind of confirm if you don't need a manager. If you've just started out, if you've made no real money or progress yet, if you don't make, release, or perform regularly, if you have trust issues and it might be an issue with someone managing you immediately, and if you don't like the idea of collaborating and having a team. To be honest, there's loads of reasons and it all boils down to what you want, what you're willing to do, and where you're at in your career. Realistically, the manager that you get should have sought you out. At least you know that initially that they see potential in you. And then you're in a position to vet them and see exactly what they can offer you. A great manager can take you to higher heights and be like family. So think really hard who fits the bill and don't be in a rush to necessarily get one. to round up, so you understand what a manager does, when you should get one, where you should get one, how to find one, plus I've given you a little bit of information on how all the money works. But like I said, the question is, are you ready for a manager? A great manager will find you, and even then you could be waiting 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, maybe even 10 years plus. So in the meantime, start building your own team. Think about this list and think about this list. And if you can get these people together to be on your side, then somewhere in there a manager might pop up, or it might just fall into place naturally. It's best sometimes to get people that are willing to work with you rather than people that are gonna work under you or over you. Getting the right friend or family member to help you with admin, connecting with a rising videographer, building a relationship with a good publicist, production staff and others behind the scene, and lastly, elevating yourself and all the brand deals, the sync deals, and the big label deals will come. There are so many people that can help you besides a manager, and even still you may need a manager, but test the waters and build yourself first. Listen, I'm really hoping that this video was helpful, insightful, and credible. So what you need to do, get down in the comments and let us know how you feel. Let us know your story. Let us know if you've had a manager, any bad situations, any great situations, anything that you can help provide to support the next person. So from me, Vital, and the Ditto Music team, more love and more powers. I'm gonna need you to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will catch you in the comments, and I'll see you next week for the next one. Peace.